So this is Factoring Review Part 3. We're going to review the quadratic formula and how to use it. So if you forgot, the quadratic formula is x is equal to negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Hopefully that's familiar to you. And we can use this formula when things don't factor nicely, and it will work for essentially any polynomial. So we're going to use the quadratic formula to factor 3x squared plus x minus 6. This would be a polynomial that would be difficult to factor normally, but using this we can help. So we're going to write x is equal to, our b is our 1, so we're going to write negative 1 plus minus the square root of b squared, it's just 1 squared, minus 4 times our a, which is 3, times our c, which is negative 6. This is all divided by 2 times our a, which is 3. So, if you can see that. So now we just have to solve what we can. So carrying down, we have negative 1. So 1 squared is just 1. Negative 4 times 3 times negative 6. Well, I'm lazy, so I'm just going to plug that into a calculator. We have 4 negative times 3 times 6. That's going to be positive 72 divided by 2 times 3, which is 6. So what this is, so we get the x values of negative 1 plus minus 72 plus 1 is 73, all over 6. So not a nice whole number, but it's a real number. And those are the x values of this polynomial. So moving on to another example. We have 2x squared plus x plus 1. We're going to use the quadratic formula once again. So we have, so we have x is equal to negative, and our b is 1 once again, plus minus the square root, our b is 1 again, so 1 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is 1, and then divided by 2 times a, which is 2. So we have this to work with. So solving for it, we have negative 1 plus minus, so 1 squared is just 1. We have 4 times 2, which is 8, so negative 8, minus 8, excuse me. Times 1 just makes it itself. 2 times 2 is 4. So this is x equals negative 1 plus minus 1 minus 8 is negative 7 over 4. Now one thing to remember is if we have a negative in a square root, it's not a real number, because if you remember, the square root of negative 1 is equal to I, which is an imaginary number. And so we can rewrite negative 7 square root as negative 1 times 7, which is the same thing as 7 times negative 1, the square root of 7 times the square root of negative 1, which is the same thing as the square root of 7i. So this right here is imaginary. So if you have any kind of negative within a square root like this, after it's been simplified down to its basic parts, then it's imaginary, or it's not real. It's not a real zero, it's not a real factor, so you can ignore it. And that's just something to keep in mind.